It's that time again. Grab a friend, sit down, no wind a bit. Tack a J, keeping it real. Can't you see the appeal? They got the jokes, the smoke, and the current events. You know the deal. Soak up that lemon water, tell all your friends. Encouragement for your flourishment is where we begin. Have you heard of it? It's sustenance. Where have you been? Free your mind.
Welcome back to another episode of Lemon Water Chronicles Podcast, man. I'm your host, Tack. Today, we have an impromptu episode of when your DP becomes your guest.
Yay!
Welcome to Sit Down with Brenks host. Brenks, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I mean, you know.
It's lovely, man.
The circumstances,
yeah, so the
cool.
backstory is we did have like some more people that were supposed to come on today, but
Right.
you know, things happen in life. It gets a little sticky. So, you know, we just kind of moved forward.
Yeah.
And just to give more context and, you know, content on what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, talk to me about, I'll let you just give your own intro and who you are and stuff like that.
Cool. So, like he said, my name is Brenks. I am the host of the Sit Down with Brenks. Great podcast, by the way. Hasn't been out in a while, but it could be coming back. It could not be coming back, but, you know, podcast host as well as doctoral student, third year. So, I'm glad to be sitting in and I'm excited for your show. I've watched a lot of your podcasts and I really like it. So DP to now podcast host.
Right, DP to now podcast host. So like, what is like the plight of being a doctoral student? Like, what is that like? Because I mean, this is basically the reason why the show hasn't been happening that much.
Exactly why the show is not happening.
What's that like? Like, what's it like being a doctoral student, and what are the plights?
It's just really, it's hard. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's like extremely, extremely hard. If I hadn't already got my PhD, I probably would not be getting my PhD.
That's right.
Like, when I talk to people, I got my master's. And so, like, great experience. Have two of, like, the best friends, like, family that I got from that experience. But being in a PhD program, not to say that it's hard. I don't know. It's almost like it's not the work that makes it difficult. It's just like your life that is going on at the same time. Because it's like, just because you're a doctoral student doesn't mean that you're not like a mom anymore, that you're not like a wife or someone's daughter, like all these different things. You still have all these obligations.
Right.
While also still getting like the highest degree that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like my master's in public health was really a terminal degree. Like I could have got a PhD in that, but it's like the same thing.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'm going to get my PhD in medical sociology, and it's been a journey. Like I can say finally going into my third year, still have like stressors of like taking comps and actually doing my dissertation, but I'm glad that the majority of the coursework has been taken care of, but it's been extremely hard. I would tell anybody to go and get a master's. Like that's a great, it's like
right.
a great experience. Like
I don't have mine. So.
I would go to happy hour. Like we would have writing parties. Like it was just a good like academic time. But like a PhD, like it's been taking me through the ringer. I won't say for everyone that it's gonna take you through the ringer, but I say as for me myself. It has taken me through the ringer, but it's been rewarding, but it has been extremely challenging at the same time. Okay. And so that is why you have not seen the Sit Down with Brenks podcast. We kind of took a hiatus in the middle of COVID. And then once school started, it was like, okay, we'll see you, you know.
When we see you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, like so that was like a really in-depth look at it, and I'm glad that you gave that. So like, talk a little bit about like your transitional. We're gonna do like a prequel step.
Okay, yeah.
What was like your transitional period? Like, talk a little bit about how you fell into finding out. I knew you used to tell me a lot. You wanted to be a doctor your whole life.
Yeah.
And at first you thought it was a medical doctor.
Yeah.
And then you realized that it wasn't. Give us a little bit of that journey, like a little bit of your personal and a little bit of your professional journey, and just kind of mesh those together.
Yeah. I guess my parents just always taught me, like, you know, I can strive for the stars,
That's
you know,
right.
shoot for the stars, strive for the stars, to the moon and back, like all this type of thing. Like, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And so me being me, it's like, well, what's the highest thing?
Right.
I want to do the highest thing. So like being in a small town, being black, wanting to help people, you become a doctor.
Being black.
Being
black in itself.
Right. It's like you become a doctor. You want to help people that look like you. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do chemistry pre-med. I wanted to do chemistry. I liked it in high school. I was so tied to it. I said when I had my first son, his name was going to be Corbin, because carbon is like the most important element in chemistry. So I'm not going to name my child Carbon, but Corbin sounds pretty cool. But anyway, I had thought this through. This was going to be my life. I was going to become a medical doctor. I was going to be an anesthesiologist. At that time, they made $150 an hour. Not only was going to have the highest degree, but I was going to be rich, because I like to do things that cost a lot of money sometimes, but also cheap things, whatever. So, you know, high school, chemistry pre-med, medical school, we taking all the health professions classes. We get to college. I go to community college first, because I had like all the money in the world to go to that school. So it was basically free to do everything. So I decided to go to Calhoun Community College. I was like top 10 students, like who's who students, like all these things, top GPA, all that. And so I was like, cool, like this is going well. Like this is the first step. Now I'm going to go to UAB. I'm going to get my bachelor's in chemistry, my minor in African American studies, because I do have interest, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to go to med school. I'm still going to be an anesthesiologist. I get to UAB first semester and I'm like, oh, this is different math. Like this is different science.
It's that
like,
new math.
This the new math. Like, what is this? Like, we didn't like, I took biology what is this? And chemistry and P-Chem and all that type of stuff at my community college. But then like once I got to UAB, I'm like, these are not the same. Like somebody lying. Like it's not the same chemistry. So, you know, I'm going through the classes and I'm taking like biology. And we had 2 different exams. So I was like, okay, cool. You got test A, test B. I take my test. I get my test grade back. I'm like, I got 43. I was like, she graded my test with the wrong test bank. Because there's no way that I made a 43. Like you talking about, I'm the top 10 students. Who's who, all of these things. I ain't made no 43. I studied. So it's like, there's no way.
You put the work in.
Nah, bro. It's horrible. So she was like, no, you had test A and I graded with test A. And so you need to really learn how to apply the material that you've learned to these questions. I'm not going to ask you like, what is a mitochondria? Or like, what is even a mitochondria's job? But I'm going to ask you in this skin cell on your elbow, if I put 2 sugars and some polypeptides or whatever the hell that was going on at that time, what is a mitochondria going to do with these things? And I'm like, girl, I don't know what that is. Like, what we talking about? I know where it's at. Like,
can't tell ya.
I colored it in high school. Like, we all did that. So I was like,
we all did that.
This big different. But I was like, I'm still going to do this. Like, this is what I decided I'm going to do. Like, this is what I'm going to do. And then, like, at that time, I was the only Black chemistry person, really, especially woman, full-size woman, and all these type of things. But my advisor didn't even know who I was. So at that point, then I had like a chip on my shoulder. So I had to prove a point. I was like, oh, you don't even know me. But I'm like, you should know me because I stand out by just being who I am. So it's like, how you don't know me as your advisee? That was stupid. Like, pride will get you into a lot of things that you really don't have to be in. And that was stupid.
Do you feel like that was kind of like a plight of like a PWI struggle?
Absolutely. PWIs is like you happen to go find, there's all these secret doors. Like these is hidden maps. Like on Harry Potter, when you open up the map and you see the feet walking and then they disappear and they go somewhere. PWI all day long. It's like if you are not like the smartest of the smartest or willing to kiss the professor's ass, and that was my experience. It could be completely different for somebody else, but I'm speaking about me. For me, it's like if I wasn't kissing their ass or making like 4.5s out of 3 points and all this extra stuff.
They weren't seeing you for
real. They weren't worried about me. They was not looking for me. They didn't care. And I had like a 3.0 at one point. You had to have like a 3.5 to get in good research labs and all this extra stuff. Things I found out after the fact.
Right.
And so then I was still interested in African American studies because like I took one class in high school, but I always just had that in me, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I'm going to take some of these classes. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm a minor in African American studies. So I'm doing chemistry, I'm doing AFM as a minor. Then it was like, oh, I'm going to do a double major.
Man.
So I'm doing chemistry and African American studies because African American studies was just as rigorous because it's like we talking about UAB here. Like UAB is like the Ivy League of Alabama, if not the South. Like it's hard as hell for no reason.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then like I finally had a professor sit me down and we had a conversation and he was just like, I really think you would do well in the social sciences.
Right.
And he was like, I don't want you to take this as me being like racist towards you, telling you to go into a different field versus the hard sciences, but I think you would just do better. And I'm like, honestly, I appreciate that because I'm like struggling. I feel like I am drowning. life is lifing, and I'm just trying to figure it out. And I remember a conversation with actually the last person that was on the sit down with Brenks, Mia Brentley, who is now Dr. Mia Brentley.
Hey, shout out to Dr. Mia Brentley.
Absolutely. And so I was like, I think God is just testing me. We're sitting in the calf. And I was like, I think God is just testing me to like, just stay the course and like keep pressing. And she was like, but what if God is trying to get you to turn another direction and you just keep trying to go this way? He trying to
so then that was kind of
else.
like the turning point.
I was truly like somebody had like Touched by Angel had put like the halo on her head and it was like,
Angel.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Exactly. So when she told me that, I was
sometimes.
like, she right. Like, she right. And so changed my major to a full African American studies major. And like leaps and bounds, night and day, totally, completely different. I was like, oh, I am smart. Like, I am. It's just like,
oh yeah, I've always known you to be that
be.
way. Like, I've never known you to not be anything other than amazingly intelligent and, beautiful.
Well, I try.
That's it. Well, insert sound.
So yeah, she helped me change my major, got a bachelor's in African American studies with a minor in chemistry because they still fuck with me enough to give me a minor in chemistry because I took all the chemistry classes. So I was like, well, thanks. So got that. My last semester, I took a public health class and was like, oh, this is really interesting. I can help masses of people and not just one by one being like a medical doctor. Right. So I did that, took a year off because I was like, I've been through the ringer with UAB. Then it stressed me the hell out. I'm tired. Worked at a call center, realized I would go to school for the rest of my life to not have to work at a call center again.
Yeah, I have something with that. I worked at a call center too once upon a time.
Yeah.
It was only a 3-month stretch. That's all I had. That's all I had in me for real.
Oh yeah, it's rough. Like it's hard work.
It was literally the training process. Yes. And I couldn't even like get through that.
The fact that training takes 3 months tells you how hard the job is. Like people think, oh, well, I'm just gonna be at a computer, I'm gonna have to be on the phone, it's gonna be easy.
Nah.
Working at a call center is horrible.
Anytime you see a job that like you think is easy, it's always very difficult.
It's always very difficult.
Or you only seeing like the finishing portion of whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
I did that. Didn't do well with it. Got that money though.
For sure.
Got the money for it, which is worth it.
Oh yeah, it's good money in it, but you literally are sitting there for 8 hours as people yell at you, cuss at you.
Yeah,
while you call them
and even there's such an energy pool when that's happening too, because
extreme.
And you think about therapists, it's like, well, shit, how do you do that?
Right.
If you're going to be like trying to help people all day, you're taking on people's worst shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like all day long. But
that's why they always say you can't fill from an empty cup. And sometimes you got to pour your cup out because you've received so much like negative energy. And you got to pour that out to fill it up with positive energy for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like...
That's a word.
I heard from I forgot what I love podcasts, by the way. So I forgot what podcast I was listening to, but it was like... You got to give people the overflow or like there's a cup on a saucer. And so the cup is for you. And so if you're not overflowing into the saucer, then you have to be selfish in that moment and take what's for you so that you can survive to when your cup is overflowing. What's overflown is for everyone else. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you can't feel from like an empty cup. So it's like
you have nothing to pour.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing to pour. So, that is helpful. You can come off as being selfish sometimes to people when situations like that happen. But I think instead of it being selfish, it's more boundaries that we're setting up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something I've really learned while I get my PhD. It's like you gotta have boundaries and you gotta be your own advocate.
Why do you feel like boundaries are important in life, period?
Oh, my amazing therapist that I no longer have gave me this lesson. Wow. That's another thing for another episode.
Okay.
But yeah, so she was basically telling me like boundaries, right? You need boundaries in life. Like everything needs a boundary. Like fire is nice. Like fire can make you warm. It can help you cook food and all these things. But if fire doesn't have a boundary, right?
Boundaries, goddamn.
Boundary, new word. But if the fire doesn't have a boundary, it will burn everything up, right?
That's right.
So it's like if you love something so much, but then it's like you're loving them the way you want to be loved and you're not listening to them, it could be too much. So like same thing with fire, you got to have a boundary to that. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be boundary on things. Like they always say, like even good things too much is bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you enjoy walking or you enjoy exercising, but if you work out too much, you can have like this toxin that builds up from your muscles and it can like kill you.
Yeah. I remember you told me about one of your friends that experienced that.
Yeah,
That was
so it's like you gotta
crazy
have a boundary
situation.
to that thing, and so it gets hard, especially when you get older with like parents and setting boundaries with your parents and like setting boundaries with friends, and like goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. It's like being a doctoral student, you're also still a friend, you're still a wife, you're still a mom or a parent, you're still a daughter or a child. You know, you still have all these obligations, and so it's like if you don't compartmentalize things and like be able to put things in boundaries, I ain't gonna say you gonna lose your mind because I don't want to put that on nobody, but you gonna struggle a little bit.
You will have like a lot of mental
you're gonna be going up the
struggles
mountain a lot. It's gonna be a
man.
tall mountain that you're gonna have to go up. So it's like having those boundaries just really make a difference. And like my friends have just been really graceful in this time because it's like if they haven't heard from me, they'll text me, and then I have built up enough in me to back down the people pleaser. To be like, hey, I really can't talk on the phone right now, but we can text. Like, can we text this conversation? Because sometimes, especially with being in grad school, you have to talk in these classes. Like, you have to be engaged. And these are 3-hour classes that you having to do all this talking. So it's like, when I get out of class, I don't want to talk. I don't want to. I don't want to talk. Which goes into another reason why the podcast has not came back. I'm talking at school and I'm using my mind to synthesize and summarize all these sociological concepts and theories and stuff. I don't want to talk on the phone when I get out of class, but some days I do because it's like an outlet. So it's like a balancing act all while having like these boundaries at the same time. But the more I think about it, I think at the end it will have been a beautiful experience, but it's most definitely hard. And that's something we've talked about before. It's just like everything can't be positive 100%. Because then I feel like as people... Because
you used to be... I remember you used to be like that a lot. You'll be a very, it's okay. We're going to figure it out. And it's like...
Toxic positivity.
Shit exists, y'all.
Me? Like, I'm a very optimistic person. My name literally means like optimism in like the short definition. But it's just like you got to have like some sad to go with the happy or some angry to go with the mad. Like you got to balance all those things out because if you're just happy all the time, I feel like we lose the appreciation for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when we talk about the valley and the mountaintop. It's like you lose appreciation for the mountaintop if you ain't ever been in the valley. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's a strength and it's like lessons and knowledge and wisdom and all that with going up the mountain. Because you learning your strength and your durability, but then it's also strength in going back down the mountain because now you're remembering all those lessons that you learned on that journey to be like, oh, okay, I see there are holes on this side going back down. I realize I am going back down, but I'm going back down in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going back down and learning a different lesson. I'm not learning the same lesson I learned in the same valley. You know what I'm saying? And when we get caught up in life where we keep going to those same valleys, then it's like, okay, let me sit here and figure out what I'm supposed to be learning. Because I keep coming to the same place. Like I see it. I know the people that work at the gas station. Like I know Jim at the grocery store. Why I keep going to the same valley? I got to figure out this lesson. So now I got to sit here.
You got to change. You got to look at every single part of every single piece.
And figure it out. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey for sure. I'm going to be toe up at the graduation. Because I've realized in my 32 years of life that I am very much a crier, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, so a lot of that information is like very hectic, but then also very beautiful at the same time because, like you said, it's going to end up being a beautiful day when you do walk across the stage, and then hopefully everything that you've done leading up to that moment will be worth it.
Yeah, I feel like it will. I think I'm most nervous about comps. Like that really stresses me out.
How much longer do you have now?
So me and my advisor basically decided that I would take comps in the spring instead of taking them in the fall because I'm like teaching full time in the fall and like all these things that don't really make sense when they're telling you to get your degree, but then they have you doing all these extra stuff, which I don't get.
Sound like school.
It's school. It's like ritualistic in a way. Like this is what you have to do to get this type of thing. Like if you go to like rituals. So like, okay, I've graduated for kindergarten. I'm going to graduate from kindergarten. I'm not just going to go to the first grade type stuff. Like I'm going to graduate from elementary and go to middle school. I'm not just going to go to, it's like rituals that people put around things. So I feel like it's like a ritual for you to like earn your, I guess, expertise while you're getting your PhD. And I also get it, like you get to get mentored by all these other people, you know, by these professors and all this stuff. So you're like learning stuff while you're also doing that, but it just becomes a lot. it just becomes a lot. That's really just the best way to put it. It can just be a lot. But I mean, if it's something that you really, really want, that you're really interested in, and you know that's what it is that you want. Like for me, it's like I know I want to have a PhD. Like I know I want to be a doctor. For one, just to like have like the highest degree that there is, because that's just who I am. But also because I want the representation. Like we do need more minority or more marginalized people to have PhDs, because you do have people who are from marginalized communities going to get like more degrees. And so it's like, it's just nice to be able to come into a program and see somebody who looks like you, who can talk like you, had the same dialect, y'all can make the same jokes. I could talk about Ashanti and Ja Rule and you know who the hell I'm talking about.
Right, and it's not just foreign information.
I'm telling you about BET and you not be like, what's that mean? Like, I'm not having to spell out all these things for you, like you get it. Like we connect on a cultural level.
Yeah.
So, that type of stuff. But I like school. So, I could potentially go back and get a master's in African American Studies. It would be insane because, like, why?
Would that benefit you?
Probably not. It would just be something that I would just end up doing because I like school. But I probably wouldn't do it because it's like, if y'all not gonna pay me to do it, I ain't gonna do it.
Makes sense.
One thing that I've learned in the beginning, and what I would tell everybody, if you get a PhD, don't pay for it, because it's just like, nah.
And those are good words to go out on with that journey of like what it's like to be a doctoral student.
Yeah, don't pay for it. Like, make sure that not only are they covering your tuition, but insurance. Make sure you get a stipend, and like an actual like equitable stipend. And when I say equitable stipend, I mean a stipend that will actually pay your bills, and also make sure that you can eat and have gas money. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like an equitable stipend. But yeah, don't pay for it.
Don't pay for it. So we're gonna segue into the lightning round. I don't know if you're ready for this. But it used to be something that was called this or that, but it's now the lightning round. So
I'm with it.
This is gonna be good for the show.
Okay.
I got a text message that just came through from, you know how they have some of those weird ass people that text. You remember that girl from New York that was texting me that time, and she was like, "Would you like to send some pictures to me and join our group of?" I got a text message that says, "Hey, would you like to come over for dinner tonight? I'm going to make a spicy salad bowl with shrimp and edamame. Phone number is 437-536-5427. Whoever you are, you texting the wrong person." And I'm leaving that on the record. So back to the lightning round.
They're gonna be so disappointed. Like shrimp and spicy edamame, like they pulling out all the stops.
I like shrimp. I like me some shrimp.
Yeah.
What's edamame?
Edamame is like a soybean, I believe. Comes like, they look like a little bean, and like this is little beans on the inside.
Word.
Yeah.
All right. Edamame.
All
right, so lightning round. Cruise ship or flying?
I am flying. I will never get on a boat again. I was playing.
What? It was that bad?
I'm just playing.
Do tell.
I mean, if the world is ending and it's gonna be like a flood, and like I need to get on the boat to survive, like
you
a
on
whole
the boat.
Noah's Ark thing, then I'm going to get on the boat. But like for fun, no.
Oh, either or. I'm cool with either or.
It was fun.
But I say flying is better than the cruise ship because
you get there faster.
Well, not even that. It's more so you just have more that you can explore for longer. Because when you're doing a cruise ship, you got the excursions and shit like that, and the excursions only be like 5 hours, and they keep it short because they don't.
5 hours are like 30 minutes.
Especially if you like, bruh, like you gotta, and it's like if you're going
to. Once you decide what you want to do, it's
like, bruh, you go to a different country, you don't know what you want to eat because there's it's not all the same shit, and then you're like wandering, you're on an excursion, so you're walking through villages, you're trying to figure out what you want to eat. You see food is being made everywhere.
Exactly.
But then it's also a touristy area. So I kind of like what happened.
You good.
What happened?
I have like supersonic hearing. So I was like, what is that noise? But you good.
That was my shoe?
Yeah.
Oh, no worry.
But yeah, I mean, the first cruise, I've been on one cruise and it was amazing, but I got sick. I have motion sickness. I get motion sickness in the car now. It's like the things you unlock when you get older type stuff. So it's like, it was a great experience. Like, loved it. Love to say that I don't ever have to do it again. Or I need like a stronger motion sickness. So if y'all know of good motion sickness stuff, like put it in the comments.
Interesting.
So we could turn those lemons into lemon water.
Pancakes or waffles?
Ooh, pancakes.
Why?
Like have that skillet like extremely hot. So when you put the pancake batter on, it's like screaming. It's like, and it's like, that's going to be good. So yeah, the crispy ends. Waffles just get so thick. too fast. And I know some people say they like them because you can put the syrup in each like little thing. It's like, I don't want to do all that.
Right.
I'll just rather have a pancake. Just eat the sides. And then if the pancake is really good, then I will actually eat the whole pancake. But if the pancake is not good, I'm just going to eat the sides of the pancake because I just want the crispy pieces. It's a texture thing, I think.
Yeah, you just want to keep it simple.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
What about you?
I don't discriminate. I'm kind of like either or.
Yeah.
Because either way, I like not a lot of syrup, but I do like to. Okay, it probably is. If you think about the waffle,
like how you
right?
do 'em,
yeah, and I pour it in each box.
Yeah.
And then I'll flip it and then let it sit for a minute, and then I'll flip that and let it sit for a minute,
But
and I'll
it's
flip
so
it
good,
again.
though. Like, it's a lot, but it's great.
Right.
It's so good.
I'll flip it again. Like it's like 4 flips.
Yeah.
And then I may not refill, but just like put a little in each one
Again.
so it'll absorb.
Yeah.
Then I cut it into 4
Oh, yeah. No
and eat it that
corner.
way.
What is it saying?
No corner left alone.
Something like something untossed or no unlooked. I don't know. It's like a saying, but I can't think of what it is right now.
Copy that. Yeah, either or. But if I had to pick one for sure to lean towards,
For the rest of your life.
lately it's the rest of my life, I'm gonna go with pancakes because it's just easy to make.
Yeah. That's
And then
fair.
you don't always have a waffle maker.
This is
You
true.
gotta have a waffle
I feel
maker
like
to
with a
make
waffle
waffles.
maker, it's always hard to get the top with the butter. Like you're supposed to put butter on the bottom and the top, but it's like it's always difficult to get the butter on the top versus like pancakes. It's a skillet or a griddle or something. So
Living in the country or living in the city.
it's tough.
Easy for me.
I just don't know. Okay, so I told y'all in the beginning I want to have a job where I make a lot of money. So I'm gonna say both because I
That's
want to have a
good.
studio in the city. Because like when I first went out to college,
Why not
stayed
have a
at
studio in the country?
That would be so weird.
Wouldn't it be neat though? It's an interesting
Have, like,
concept.
like, extremely
just a
tall
building for
in the
no
middle of the
reason
field.
in the middle of the
I
field.
mean, I'm weird like that. I'm down with it. It's like a tree house, but it's a tree studio.
Tree studio.
Hmm.
I wonder what the electrical outlet would be like. Make out rather.
It's like what's the movie that just came out? Dang, with the people in the tree. Oh,
There's a movie about people in a tree.
with the it's been 10 years since they made it. Dang, what's the name of the movie?
Oh, Avatar.
Thank you, Avatar. So it'll be like Avatar. So you plug into the tree that the studio is in.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Crazy ass. Brenks, y'all. This is Brenks.
But the country is beautiful, but I like both. So I like the quietness of the country, but I like the noise of the city. So I want to be able to do both.
Yeah, you want to have a good balance.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of like the same way. I like both. If it was one more than the other, I probably would pick the country just because I like exclusivity.
Yeah, you're free. You don't have to be
Yeah,
worried.
like you
Don't
walk
be
outside
bothered.
naked at night,
This is
or
true,
like
which is great.
you know
'Cause
jack
all
off
your
whatever you want
parts
to do.
need sunlight, and so you could do that if you stay in the country. In the city, you're gonna get a
Yeah, and at night at time you can actually see the stars, and it's like
That's
it's
true,
true
too.
meditational properties with that.
Yeah.
Like definitely.
So you get a house in the country, I get a house in the city, and then we can visit.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you had a dude or not, but you know.
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm like
cool.
married and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, married and stuff.
What's that like?
It's good. It's good.
We married, y'all. We're here fucking with y'all. We are married, but it's just horrible. I have no game, but what I always tell people is I tell the truth. That's my game. I'll be like, I'm corny. I like to do weird shit, weird excursions and stuff like that. It's like, if you like that, then I guess I have game now. So, you know what I'm saying.
Now your daddy.
He got game. Always coming in the kitchen. All the pig feet, all the hog maws. I want some of them chitlins. I want pig feet.
You in the kitchen.
Right, he was mad as hell, that boy. So let's see, day party. Yeah, day party or nightclub.
I'm old, so yeah. Once I feel like I have arrived into my 30s. I'm about to be in my mid 30s, which I'm.
That's beautiful. You're
right.
living.
There's a lot of people that don't get.
Bro, people don't get,
And
yeah.
people, I think people really take that for granted. And then on a historical context, folks was dying 40, 50.
Man, yeah. If you look at the,
You know what I'm saying?
it was horrible.
So day parties
Shit
for
was
me,
bad.
I like to be very much feeling good at like 12:45, 1:30, like tipsy on mimosas, really mimosas. Or I mean, give me a little bourbon.
For
A
sure.
little Tennessee whiskey. Love that song.
So you're a whiskey girl.
I'll drink it, yeah. I can't do the
Stuff
vodkas.
I'm learning
the
about her, I
and the
didn't know.
tequilas, I feel like once you
Can't
turn
do that,
30, your throat do something different, and you can't be taking shots of vodka and tequila like that. Now, you give me a French 75 lemon drop martini, preferably with Jack instead of vodka. Or French 75 gin's fine, but you can also make them with Jack, and they're good. And or other bourbons. Do with that what you will. Those are the best. But yeah, at night, because nightclubs, you're not getting to the nightclub till like 9 or 10 o'clock. I want to be in my bed, in the bed, like watching TV, rubbing my little feet together at 10 o'clock. I don't want to be at the club at 10 o'clock. Like, even on my birthday, like last year I went out for my birthday, I had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. I didn't get home till like 1 o'clock in the morning. My mama was here. She fried me some chicken. Like, it was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Chef's kiss.
It was lit.
I was
Y'all had so much fun. I was like in the middle of work, it fucking sucked.
Yes, because, you know, my husband liked to book weddings on my birthday weekend. But it's fine because it's money.
We still
so
do
now
it up,
make
though.
money to then do more things for me for my birthday, because my birthday is the whole month of October and or every year.
Yeah, it works itself out.
Yeah, I love to be celebrated. So, but no, I got home late.
Y'all was like, we ain't done.
Right,
we ain't done.
Shout out to Tony Baker and Kev on stage.
Shout out to y'all, man. Thanks for answering back on the Facebook post too about when y'all came. It was dope to see it. Somebody from your team wrote back.
Yeah, it was nice. So yeah, I want to be in the bed, and it took me 2 weeks to recoup from not coming in until 1 o'clock. So I need to be out during the day in the sun. I want the sun to hit my skin.
She's like, the sunshine on you. Okay.
Sunshine on me. Yeah.
Let's see. Albums or mixtapes?
Ooh. Honestly, it could be either one for me because I'm horrible at knowing the song, like the titles to songs, knowing artists. Like, we've been in the car, I'm like, oh, I like this song. Like, literally one of like core memories from our like beginning of a relationship. It was that one song that I used to always sing. Never could figure out the name of it, but I could hum it. And then like technology advances, and so now I can hum it into Google. And then they told me what it was, and then like we would listen to it. But like here now in this moment, I don't know the name of that song. I don't know the artist. And I'm honestly struggling trying to figure out the like melody to try to figure out what it was. But so I would say either one, it really doesn't matter. I'm not going to remember the name of the song or the artist.
For sure.
So either one. I lean more towards mixtapes because they have more songs. People be coming out with these albums with 7 songs. And I'm like, we've been waiting for this for 5 years. This is insane. So.
Yeah. And that's like the plight of being an artist too. Like, you know.
But it's like you hear about artists that die and they have all of these songs, like all these catalogs. I'm like, why y'all not releasing these? Because these songs sound nice. We would have liked them. So.
It's true.
Like, give me at least 16 songs. We used to burn CDs. Give me 16.
8 and 8, man, you know?
Yeah.
And then the first 8 could tell the first half of the story, and 8 could just, the other 8 could tell the outro.
Take me on a journey. Like Frank Ocean, Journey.
Yeah, he's got bangers like certified all up and down. Like
Pyramids. That was like 4 songs in one. If we're going to be real. So, yeah.
Vibes with an S. Yeah, we haven't said that in a while. That's way back. That's like the beginning. It's been amazing having you on the show.
Thank you.
I look forward to having you on again just to talk about random topics.
Yeah. I wore my yellow glasses for the lemons.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. You know, we didn't have a table to put extra lemons on, but it's all good.
It's all good. I see them. They there.
Yeah, you know, it's a metaphorical thing. So.
It was a reading rainbow.
Imagination. One question I forgot to ask you, or I meant to ask, is how do you find yourself making lemons into lemon water in life?
That's a really good question. Like I really like that you ask like people that. I think that's a really good like premise to have like a podcast on.
Thank
stuff
you.
Too. That's just my little tidbit.
Hey.
Positive withhold.
Hey.
But how do I turn lemons into lemon water? I guess just having the capacity to believe that things can be like stretched or like adapted or like finding the brighter side of things to stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And like giving things time to kind of be, because like we talked about before, like I used to be a very toxic positive person. Like you got to find like the bright side to everything, like any and everything. Oh, I stepped on this. Oh, it's okay because you still like all this type of stuff.
Right.
And it's like true, like have like a positive outlook on life, but like sometimes it could just be unrealistic. Like sometimes you are in a hole, and you want people to come down there and be in the hole with you. You don't want somebody to be like,
you just got to recognize like where you are.
Right, like you don't want somebody to be like, oh, let me give you this ladder. I'm like, hold on, I want to be down here. I'm upset. Like this is bothering me. So it's like in those moments where I've like been upset or like dealt with stuff, I've been like, okay, but what's the positive out of this? Or what's the lesson? So it's like when bad things and stuff are like coming, like happening in life or like coming my way, it's just like, okay, what's my lesson? Like, what can I learn? So like when I'm in a valley, like how we were talking about like the valley and the mountaintop before, it's like, okay, I'm in this valley for a reason. Let me learn my lesson. And in learning the lesson is when you like, okay, I'm like rubbing this lemon, I'm getting it ready to bring out all these juices. And then like I've learned my lesson. And so now I'm taking this lemon and making lemon water. And now it's nurturing me instead of it being something that could be like sour or painful. Now it's something that I can use to go on my next journey. You know what I'm saying? Like lemon water hydrates you. You learn the lessons on your journey, make you like stronger to do more things and like to take on new things in life, and also be able to share them with other people. Because I don't feel like we go through life just to be going through it. We go through it because there's someone else that's gonna come up that's gonna need to know the knowledge and wisdom and things that you learn on your journey. So that's how you turn lemon into lemon.
And just like that, we're going to get up out of here, y'all. Let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Yeah, so I am still the host of the Sit Down with Brenks podcast. You can find me on Instagram at the Sit Down with Brenks. I am Brenks.
She is Brenks. I am Tack. This has been the Lemon Water Chronicles Podcast, episode featuring the Sit Down with Brenks. Life gives you lemons, make lemon water.
Lemon water. When life gives you lemons, make lemon water.